Hey, how you doing, YouTube? This is your boy, BrogiNaric, and we're back again with another review of Dark Side of the Ring. Got my guest with me, Cuba the GOAT. Cuba, introduce yourself, man.
Yo, this is Cuba the GOAT here. Again, I will say this again. The #1 Michael Jordan reactor ever on YouTube. Put some respect on my name. I will soon be the #1 Larry Bird reactor. The #1 Wilt Chamberlain, Magic Johnson, everybody, LeBron, you already know. So stay tuned, subscribe, and see you later.
Yeah, man, you've been hitting it up with the with those Larry Bird videos. Seems like everybody.
Jordan, I'm at almost 250 Michael Jordan videos as well. So.
Oh man, congratulations. So in this video, we're going to be reviewing the latest episode of Dark Side of the Ring, the ultra violence of Nick Gage. But before we get into it, don't forget to like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel. So, this was an interesting episode. Were you familiar with Nick Gage before this episode?
I had no idea who the hell he was.
Right. I knew who he was, I just didn't know his name because of the whole... I remember when the David Arquette thing happened. I just didn't know. I didn't remember.
I remember.
Yeah. I just didn't remember that wrestler's name. So this episode focused on Nick Gage, who is the king of deathmatch wrestling, which is a unique style of wrestling, a very hardcore, ultra-violent, ultra-destructive form of wrestling. This guy is the king of that style. Wait, hold on. I just got a message.
Yeah.
Hold on. I just got a message.
How do you get a message at the same time? Oh, that was him.
Yeah, it was in the group chat.
Okay, I thought it was YouTube.
He said, "Nah, my cousin came." Okay, so yeah, he's busy. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. All right.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, I tell you what. You know what happens?
What happened?
You know what happens?
Here we go.
When you say that you're going to be on a podcast, not the Jesus podcast, when you say you're going to be in the video and it doesn't happen, you know what happens?
What happened?
You know what happens? When we have to sit up here and wait for you for 5 or 10 minutes and we're discussing on what we have to do, you know what happens? Huh? Really? You do? You do? You just made the list!
Oh, man. All right.
Clark watches this. Clark, and what should we call him on here? I don't want to put his real name. Unless he wants to go by it.
I don't know. I don't know. He got so many damn aliases. I believe it. Let's call him Jones.
Hey, Clark, put Jones on the list. I'm going to have you watch this video. One of my subscribers keeps a note of the list, you know.
Oh, man. All right. So, let's get back into it. That was funny. Let's get back into it. So, the episode started off with like a montage of just random jackasses trying to kill themselves. That was some crazy shit. Where they showed the random death matches. There was like that. What was that shot where the guy like jumped off like a ledge into a truck and like went through some wood and some glass and light tubes. I was like, what is the point of this shit? You know what I'm saying?
Ridiculous. We all know wrestling is. Everybody knows this. This ain't the '90s where we gotta hide it and stuff. This stuff, it's dangerous. With wrestling, of course, scripted and all that, but they want to make it all real into this. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's more like a stunt show than wrestling, in my opinion. That's just, Yeah. I would call Nick Gage a really good stunt man and less of a wrestler. But I will say, like John Moxley, who's in the episode, he does point out Nick Gage can really relate with his crowd. He has a fan base that really support him, and he has a certain charisma that people are attached to or attracted to. You know what I'm saying? So I'll give him that. He does have that, like outside of his style or whatever. But yeah, Nick Gage is fucking insane, and he has a very interesting lifestyle. I will say, like, because I was like, what else is there to this guy? And he does have a really messed up lifestyle. So we're introduced to Nick Gage. He's from National Park, New Jersey. He loves his mom. He grew up single parent home with his brother Chris. He loved to fight. He loved wrestling. They was in like backyard wrestling, but they were like really extreme backyard wrestling. They used barbed wire and all types of weapons. A couple of people I know personally are used to do backyard wrestling, but nothing to this level. They were on a whole nother level with this shit.
I mean, you could do backyard wrestling, but don't do no crazy shit like that.
Yeah.
Bank addicted brother.
Yeah, right. So there's a point where they talk about the Tournament of Death, which is this huge deathmatch wrestling show that happens in Delaware. It's kind of like a Woodstock for deathmatch wrestling. And there's these multiple rounds of crazy death matches, and it's like a tournament. They have to survive different obstacles. And I think this was, I forgot to write it down. I think it was like 2004, maybe 5, maybe 6, where this infamous thing happened where it was Nick Gage versus Thumbtack Jack, who was this other big deathmatch wrestler from Germany. And they both survived the tournament. They was like in the finals. And they have this...
It was 09.
Was it 09? Okay.
I think 09, yeah.
Maybe 09. I forgot to tell it. But the guy, Brett Lauderdale, who was later one of the owners of Game Changer Wrestling and Combat Zone Wrestling, which is another big deathmatch wrestling promotion. He was there, but he was like a ref. And he tells the story of how they had this fight. They're in this ring, and the ropes are surrounded by like light tubes. Him early on in the match, Nick Gage and Thumbtack Jack are fighting. Thumbtack Jack throws him through the ropes. He crashes into some light tubes, and one of the light tubes happens to stab him under his arm. And buckets of blood is pouring out, and they have to stop the match.
Like, he wanted to continue. He wanted to go back in there, right?
He wanted to go back in there. They're like, no, you're dying. Like, this is buckets of blood. So you're about to fucking die. And he's like, no, let me go back in there. Can I go back in there? Like, no, dude. He's like, well, get it on camera. I want people to know I didn't pussy out and da. I'm like, dude, calm the fuck down.
I'm about to add him to the list.
Right. And Moxley tells the story of how he was on the plane, or they had the plane ride him out because the ambulance couldn't get there because of all the cars and stuff. And he died for 7 minutes on the plane ride. They revived him. Yeah. They revived him. So it's like he died in the death match and survived. And that just made his legend even bigger, which is interesting. I mean, it is kind of badass, but it's also like you didn't have to put yourself in that situation.
Yeah, I would say something. I ain't gonna say it here.
No, go ahead, say it.
Ain't no brothers doing that.
Oh, hell no. No. Oh, you can look at the crowds and you see who showed up for that shit. So, yeah. It's a very...
I just seen the dude as the ref later on.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to mention, they did have... there was a shot. One of the guys that was there was Eddie Kingston from AEW. He was in one of the shots.
That was him.
Yeah, that was Eddie Kingston. And another one of the shots, one of the refs, if you watch the New Jack episode, there was an incident with the old dude... Gypsy Joe, that he beat the shit out of that old man. In a couple of those matches, Gypsy Joe is refereeing there because he was also kind of like an old school tough guy, deathmatch sort of dude. So I thought that was kind of funny.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of funny that he was there too. So yeah, Nick Gage is a huge fan of the Japanese death matches and ECW. He also formed a tag team with his brother Chris, aka Justice Payne, and his brother was like a little more like Nick was more of the. I mean, I guess they were both kind of problem childs, but Nick was more of the troubled one, and developed drug addiction to pain pills and stuff like that. And then his brother Chris was a bit more on the straight and narrow. He was definitely more into fitness and stuff like that. And they had a bit of a falling out. He eventually his pain pill addiction led to a heroin addiction. We also see his high school sweetheart, his girlfriend Sandra. Well, I have to say she's his biggest fan, and she's a ride or die. I must say she's a ride or die. Hey, look, I'm not gonna talk shit. He got love in his life. She's a true ride or die chick, and I liked her. I liked her commitment to Nick throughout all the craziness in his life.
You seen that picture of her back? Was that her? I had to I'm like, is that actually the same female?
That's her. Hey, look, life can be rough for some people. We saw this with the Brian Pillman episode with his wife. Like, life can be rough for people. You know what I'm saying? Life can be rough for some people, man. I'm just saying. She talks about how she watched him get lit on fire, and he finished the match even though he got lit on fire. He's like, stop, drop, and roll is bullshit. But when you watch it, like, he didn't really stop and drop and roll that well. You know what I'm saying?
Just fucking rolled.
He just rolled once and then just kept crawling. I'm like, that's not stop, driving, and rolling, but whatever. Yeah. So there's the story. What was it when? What was the one with Brett Lauderdale was telling that one day he had to kick Nick and Sandra out of his house after they broke into it because they got kicked out of Sandra's mom's house. Yeah.
They was like watching TV or something, and she out for no reason, she just kicked him out. Yeah, it was cold as hell, right?
Yeah. It said it was cold, and they had nowhere to stay, and Brett was out of town, and then they broke in, and he had to kick them out, and yeah, so, and they were friends. They're close friends. He's like the closest friend Nick Gage has, because at this point his brother had stopped talking to him, his mom had passed, and you know he just had really his girl and Brett, and so this led to him having to be very desperate, and he just decides, fuck it, he's gonna rob a bank.
Well, hold on. Before that, was that didn't him and the brother, didn't they, I know you said they had fallen out.
Yeah.
They had a match, right?
Yeah.
Broke his shoulder or something?
Yeah, there was a match where I think Nick showed up and he was like high or some shit, and his brother knew it.
That was what it was.
Yeah, his brother knew he wasn't prepared, and so they had like a quick championship match that was like maybe under 5 minutes or so, and he quickly put him in the finish and just finished the match. And yeah, you're right, he almost dislocated his shoulder or whatever. Yeah.
You Jeff Hardy victory road with Sting, right?
I guess. Yeah, you're right. That is kind of. But yeah, you're right. It is. I don't think the Gage was as fucked up as Jeff, but yeah, it kind of was that type of vibe. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right about that. Damn. So yeah, out of desperation, Nick Gage decides to rob a bank. He did this with no planning and no disguise.
What, so he just had his finger in his shirt like this or something?
I think so. I don't think he didn't mention him having a gun. He just said he gave the lady a note and told her to give me the money, because usually in those situations they just give you the money because it's insured anyway. So he got out of there, and he was all on the camera, and everyone pointed out, especially Moxley, was like, this guy always shows up to the ring with a fucking bandana on, but for some reason when he actually robs the place, he doesn't wear a bandana to cover his face.
The one place where you should wear a mask, you don't wear a mask.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious. I thought that was hilarious. Yeah, he was just in a hoodie, glasses or whatever.
And the hoodie's open, you see your whole face.
Yeah, exactly. They said they got multiple photos of him. Now, this is the crazy.
You see at the club, the close-up one.
Exactly. Now the crazy part about it is he robbed a bank, and then for like a week, him and the girlfriend just go to Atlantic City and gamble away the money that they stole. And I'm like, it must be nice to just be able to walk in, rob a bank, and just have a whole week to yourself with the money, and then just turn yourself in.
Well, because the dude was like, he called him every day. It was like, you want to turn yourself in? Right?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, Brett said he called him every day and was like, hey, you want to turn yourself in? I just they got his face on camera. They know he did it. He just gets a whole week to himself. It just must be nice. I'm just saying. Because I know if that was me, my ass would have been locked up.
Both of us.
Exactly. We would have been locked up in under 24 hours. Like, fuck 48 hours. It would have been under 24 hours.
They was like, what was it? It's like the cops didn't get no effort to find him, right? Whatever.
They're like, he didn't really hurt anybody. He was
turned himself in. It was a manhunt. Dude just robbed the bank.
Exactly.
Right? I'm like, where the cops at? But I'm like, oh yeah, well.
Maybe he didn't steal that much money. And he was like, we got other problems. I mean, it's Jersey. Who knows?
Yeah.
So he was sentenced for 5 years in the New Jersey State Prison. And this was an interesting thing where he was talking about how that was rough, but it was the fact that he got a lot of fan mail while he was in prison. That was the thing that kind of kept him motivated. And He started to work out and get fit. And wanted to change. Once he gets out, he wants to change his life and stuff like that. And he returns. Once he gets out, Brett and his girlfriend are there to pick him up that first day. His brother Chris hadn't talked to him. Once again, they're not talking to each other.
Call him at all.
Yeah.
5 years. 4.5.
Yeah. So he returns back to CZW. His friend Brett now owns the Combat Zone Wrestling, and he wants, the fans are there. He wants to do a big, a big invitational tournament or something.
Nick Gage Invitational.
Yeah.
Right.
And things seemed to be going well, but shortly afterwards, he failed the drug test and he got locked up for another 2 years.
He swapped piss, right?
Yeah, they said he swapped piss, but then Brett also alludes there was some other shit that might have happened. They don't clearly say what it was. He mentioned something about some sort of device. I don't know if he was like trying to pass a lie detector test or something. I don't know what the fuck that was about, but there was some other shady shit involved besides him just swapping the piss, and he got caught.
I tell you what, Nick Gage, if you had been on Steve Wilkos, I've been watching that a lot lately. He would have got in your ass.
Yeah, Steve Wilkos would have thrown so many chairs at this guy. Nick Gage would have probably fought.
Get off my stage.
Yeah, Nick Gage probably would have swung on his ass. But anyway,
yeah.
So he gets out again. He's in and out of jail, but he's trying to get his life together. And then randomly, for some reason, we run into David Arquette, actor and former WCW champion. You will put respect on that man's name. He is a former WCW champion, huge wrestling fan. He was the star of the movie Ready to Rumble, one of the best wrestling movies of all time. Don't at me.
I like that movie. Also, 8-Legged Freaks.
Oh, I can't watch that. Nah, I fucking hate Spider.
Was he in that? Yeah, I think he was.
He probably. That sounds like something he would have been in. So he, at the round of the time, it was like 2018, 2019. He was filming on this, making this documentary called "You Cannot Kill David Arquette," which basically covered his return to the world of wrestling. And some people I know that I'm cool with actually down in Chester was a part of that documentary, which I thought was kind of crazy. But
what?
Yeah. Some guys that Dick Jones and John are cool with was a part of that documentary. They filmed in the backyard. They did backyard wrestling. But so he
David Arquette.
Yeah, David Arquette. Yes, I swear to God. I was surprised when it happened. I was like, "What the fuck, David Arquette?" And then it's like, "Oh, he was doing a documentary." Then this stuff with Nick Gage happened. So, I think he was trying to do some cool hardcore wrestling stuff. He wanted to be, I guess, going to get some street cred or whatever. I think they said Nick Gage was suggested to him, and he contacted him. He was like, "I don't know who Nick Gage is," but he agrees to have a death match with him. He didn't know what he was getting into. I would assume him being a wrestling fan, he would have some idea of what a fucking death match is.
Has it in the name, David Arquette.
It has it in the damn name, you idiot. But he told there was one stipulation. He told Nick Gage not to cut him, but it's a fucking death match. I don't get it. I don't get that stipulation. Like,
don't cut me, but you can hit me over the head with fluorescent light tubes.
Right.
Hit
me with a chair, but don't cut me. Like, okay.
Yeah.
So they wrestled at a bar. I remember this happened because I remember Cornette was like going insane off of this. It was some bar. I wish I would have wrote down the name of the bar, but that's where they. It wasn't at like a stadium or anything. It was a bar where they wrestled at. And David and Nick, they pushed each other. They were having a match. David Arquette mentions how the guy, like Nick, was like, this was like, I'm gonna beat the shit out of this guy. Nick was like hitting him hard. David Arquette was trying to, wrestle. But then once he kind of realized that Nick was gonna go at him, they kind of did the best they could to keep it going.
Before he finished, he said they went out to eat the night before and was like, well, you kind of touched on it, they did go out to eat.
Oh, yeah, don't cut me and all of that. Yeah, there was another clip that they didn't show in the episode where they mentioned it was a documentary and Nick Gage was paid for the match. but David Arquette had bought him like a new queen size bed or something. Yeah, like a new queen size bed. That's like sort of his payment for being in the documentary, which I thought was kind of Nick. Yeah, that was David Arquette said that was like his weird sense of humor. It's like we just had this crazy bloody death match and it was hardcore, but like I gave the guy a bed because it's something soft. I was like, okay, that's kind of that was his odd sense of humor. I'm like, okay, I think he could have just paid the guy, but whatever. So they pushed each other. They took it to another level. You see David Arquette jumping off the turn off top of the turnbuckle, and you know he's trying to he wanted to wrestle. I guess he wanted to make up the bullshit for what happened in WCW. There's a moment where Nick pulls out a pizza cutter and cuts him on the head and cuts him in the mouth. Which I remember there was a clip they had on Instagram where John Moxley talks about how he had one of his matches early on in his career with Nick Gage. He did the same thing with the pizza cutter. But John Moxley's a fucking weirdo because he likes this type of shit.
He said he'll do it for free.
Yeah, he's odd. Like some of these guys just like the thrill of the pain and the excitement, regardless. So there's a moment where Nick Gage hits David Arquette with one of the light tubes, and he hits him with a piece of the light tube. And I think he's trying to cut him, but David Arquette like moves kind of quickly, and he ends up accidentally stabbing him in the throat, or slashing his neck. So he's like bleeding a lot, and David is pissed. This got way over his head, and he's like he tells David Arquette like, hey, after I pin you, like stay down so we can just end this. We'll stop it here. They do. That's the end of the match. He
no-sold it too. He got it right out there. He Austin Aries that finished.
He did. He really did. What was that? Austin Aries and was it John Morrison? I think it was. Morrison. Yeah,
Johnny Nitro, Johnny Impact, Johnny Mundo, whatever his name is.
Yeah, I remember that. But he hit him with the finish, and then as soon as the bell rung, Austin Aries got up and just walked the fuck out. Yeah, it was just like that. It was just like that. But like he's bleeding. He's like bleeding from the neck. So that happened. That was like one of the last big news things that happened with Nick Gage. But then the show mentions that sometime after that, Nick's brother Chris passed away, and they mentioned that he jumped off a fucking bridge.
Did he land? Like, I know he jumped off a bridge, but did he land in water and drown or something? Because he showed like bridge.
Yeah. I'm assuming he drowned and probably couldn't swim or some shit, but yeah, they said he was allegedly running away from the cops after stealing the car. His brother had they almost like swapped places to a degree. Like his brother was more on the straight and narrow, but apparently he fell into drug addiction and lost his family and shit. And life is crazy, And
these wrestlers, these drugs, man.
Yeah, some wrestlers, the drug problem is pretty. Excuse me, it's still pretty bad. And but Nick is pushing to stay clean. As far as I know, he hasn't gotten into any more legal trouble. Feels like he's gonna die young. This is the crazy bit when they mentioned that Nick Gage is only 40 years old. That kind of threw me off because he looks like he's pushing 50. But when they said he's only 40, he's just had a rough life. He's beaten the hell. I mean, he's had the bald head and the receding hair. Like he just looked like he was older than what he was. So I was just like, he's that young, like 40? Like, oh shit.
It's like mid 40s or something.
Yeah, I would have thought he was close to like 47, 48.
Yeah.
It just kind of threw me off. I thought that was kind of funny. But this is a wild episode. This wasn't one when they announced it I wasn't looking forward to, but after watching it, it's like it is an interesting story, regardless of how I feel about his style of wrestling, whatever. It's still an interesting story, and it's definitely dark, definitely a lot going on behind it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So how did you feel about the episode, Cuban?
I thought it was a pretty good episode. I mean, first of all, I like how Vice does their documentaries, the little reenactments.
Yeah.
Did they do any reenactments here? I know they did with John Moxley and Nick Gage in a locker room. He had the SIG, but I really don't remember Okay, well, they did have his brother when he was going crazy, so they had reenactment.
Yeah, they had some of the David Arquette stuff, but then they also had the footage too. So
yeah, a lot of footage. They had a lot of footage.
A lot of footage. I'm gonna try to go watch try to watch that documentary. I think it's on Hulu. I know I got it saved somewhere.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, probably not one of their best. It's around the same as like the New Jack one.
Oh, the New Jack one is way better though. Like the New Jack one is better. I had to go back and rewatch that one too. R.I.P. the New Jack. That crazy motherfucker's gone.
Last week I just watched that. Like I think I told somebody I just watched the one with him going off on Chris Benoit. You seen that?
Oh, I think I have seen that.
Cheek and honky tonk man.
Yeah. But in the hotel room.
Yeah,
I've seen that one. That's a wild shooter. Yeah, boy. And it was they were snapping on Jeff Jarrett and shit. I remember that.
Ultimate Warrior, all that.
Yeah, I remember that. High shit. Okay.
But yeah, Nick Gage. I mean, you crazy motherfucker. But
yeah, he wild. He wild as shit. Hopefully he don't do anything too crazy, or at least don't get locked up again, because he need to chill out on that shit. God damn.
Girl will still stick with him. So.
Oh yeah, she's hanging in there with
That's
him.
a ride or die right there. Like you been gone for almost 5 years. Was she by herself for 5 years?
Hey, look,
I don't want to Springer more. You just see
look, right, exactly. We look, she there, he with her. Let them. They live their life. They do their thing, man. I'm not trying to break up a happy home. You trying to start some. You trying to start some shit. I'm gonna let them live their life.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I'm done.
Oh man. All right, so those are our thoughts on the latest episode of Dark Side of the Ring, the ultra violence of Nick Gage. Let us know what you thought about the episode in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the video. Subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to check out my boy Cuba. Cuba, let the people know where they can find you.
Find me on YouTube, Cuba the Goat. Find me on IG and Twitter, Cuba the Goat as well. Mm-hmm. Anything else? Twitch, but I ain't on Twitch.
Yeah. You got the Twitch. You got your gaming channel.
My gaming channel, Cuba the Goat Gaming, pushing 100 subscribers. Don't know when I'm gonna get there, but hey, whatever. Pushing 5,000 subscribers on the main channel.
There you go.
So go ahead and sub to that.
There you go.
Before you all be on the list.
There you go. Of course, you can find me at Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, BrogiNaric, and TikTok, BrogiNaric. And thanks for watching. And stay tuned for more videos. Peace. Nice.